Bonjour tout le monde! Today we're going to look at French adjectives. When we're dealing with adjectives in French, we need to be aware of two things that may be different to English. Firstly, does the adjective come before or after the noun? This depends on the adjective being used. And secondly, does the adjective need to change? This depends on the thing being described. Is it feminine, plural, or both? If so, we might need to change the form of the adjective. You've probably met adjectives before when discussing items in your school bag. Here you will have learnt that in French, the adjective, or in this case colour, comes after the noun. This is very different to English, but annoyingly, it's not always the rule in French. To identify adjectives which need to come before the noun, as in English, we can use the rule of bags. B stands for beauty, that is, adjectives which tell you whether something is beautiful or pretty. A stands for age, adjectives which tell you if something is old or new. G stands for goodness, whether something is good or bad. And S stands for size, whether something is big or small. You may have already noticed that these are some of the most common adjectives, so it's important you have a way to remember that they go before the noun. Sound complicated? We do actually have word order rules for adjectives in English. We just don't really think about it. Some sentences just sound correct to us, whereas the reverse would not sound right. You've learnt this unofficially in your own language, so now you just need to learn the rules for French. For today's lessons, we're going to work with les vêtements, clothes. We know so far that nouns fall into three categories in French. Masculin, masculine nouns, such as un blouson, un pantalon, un pull. Feminine nouns, féminin, such as une jupe, une robe, une chemise. And pluriel, plural nouns, such as des baskets, des bottes, des chaussettes. You'll notice for the plural nouns that there's an F in brackets. This is because the singular version of these items would be feminine, and that's going to be important, so bear it in mind. For the first part of our lessons, we're going to work with colours, and as these do not fall under the rule of bags, they're going to go after the noun, as we saw with items in our school bag. Using these examples, we can take a look at some of the regular rules for forming adjectives in French, and then some common irregularities. If we look at the first group, for black, blue and green, you can see the general pattern that is followed when an adjective changes from masculine to masculine plural to feminine plural. The masculine is almost like the root of the word. The feminine form then adds an E. The masculine plural adds an S to the root, and the feminine plural adds E and S. However, unfortunately, we don't always follow the rules in French. Take a look at this second group. Here, the masculine is as it stands, but there's an E at the end of each word. This would then make adding a second E for the feminine uncomfortable, so we don't. The masculine plural adds an S in the usual fashion, and the feminine plural, rather than adding ES, just adds an S to the existing E. The next group have other slightly different rules, and really you just need to learn these. There isn't a shortcut, unfortunately. For the last group, there is another special circumstance. You'll notice that they don't change from masculine to masculine plural to feminine plural. And these are very important to remember when you're doing the later exercises. Let's try that out with a masculine singular noun. Let's try to say a red jumper. So first we need to identify, Does the adjective, here it's red, need to go before or after the noun, which is jumper? Does red fall into our bags rule? No, colours do not come under the rule of bags. So we know that the adjective is going to need to come after the noun. Next, we'll check the other table to find the correct form of red for a masculine singular noun. That's this column. We've located red and we see the correct answer is un pull rouge. Now it's your turn. Use the 3 items of vocabulary at the bottom and the table showing the colours for different adjective forms to complete the exercise. Pause the video to complete your answers. Let's see how you got on. Now let's take a look at the feminine singular adjectives. Let's try to say a blue dress. So first, we need to work out if the adjective here blue goes before or after the noun. Colours, as we've said, do not go under the rule of bags, so it can go after the noun. Now we need to check the table to find the correct form of blue for a feminine singular noun. That's this column. We look down the colours and we select the correct form, une robe bleue. Now try that out for yourself. Use the 3 items of vocabulary and the table to complete your answers. Pause the video. Let's see how you got on. Now let's try that out for a plural noun. Let's try to say some black socks. So, does the adjective black need to go before or after the noun? You guessed it, doesn't follow the rule of bags, it's a colour, so it goes after. However, it is plural, and we said at the beginning that the 3 items of clothing we would use are plural and feminine. So, check the table to find the correct form of black for a feminine plural noun. It's this column here. We select the correct form and we're left with des chaussettes noires. Now it's over to you. Use the vocab at the bottom and the table to complete your answers. Pause the video. Let's see how you got on. Okay, to refresh, colours are fine to go after the noun. But at the beginning of the lesson, we saw that there were some categories of adjectives which need to come before the noun. Just take a moment to review them now. These are the adjectives we'll be working for the next set of exercises. We can still use clothes, and this will be a good way to add interest to your writing. So, let's try to say a pretty dress. Does the adjective pretty need to go before or after the noun? We can see that it does appear on our list for bags adjectives, jolie, pretty, in the category of beauty, so it does need to go before the noun. Then we can check the table to find the correct form of pretty for a feminine singular noun. That's this column. So to complete our answer, we need une jolie robe. In these questions, all of the adjectives are bags adjectives, meaning that they need to go before the noun. Use the vocab at the bottom and the table to complete your answers. Pause the video. Let's see how you got on. Here's where things can get a little more complicated. In the sentence, a new green skirt, we have two adjectives, which may behave differently. Let's take the first adjective, new. Does this need to go before or after the noun? We know that new does come under the rule of bags, being related to age. The second adjective, green, does not come under the rule of bags, as we've seen that colours behave in the usual way. So here are what we need to translate. We'll check the table for bags adjectives for the correct form of new, and we'll check the second table for the correct form of green. Here's what we're left with. Now it's your turn. You have the vocabulary, which also tells you the genders you're looking for. Use the table, pause the video, and complete your answers. Let's see how you got on. Et voilà! Check your notes, review your work, and I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please hit subscribe and keep an eye out for further French videos.